Hello fellow gamers and welcome to the very first episode of a beginner-friendly series regarding Dead by Daylight. I'm going to make a short introduction to you to get familiar with the game, and we're gonna get into the menu and what do you need to know before start playing. Dead by Daylight is an online multiplayer survival horror game that appeared back in 2016. The game consists of a so-called trial in which 4 survivors and 1 killer are trapped on the map. Survivor's mission is to complete repairing 5 out of 7 generators that are split evenly on the map in order to power up 2 exit gates. On the other side, the killer needs to hook each survivor in order to sacrifice them to the entity and win the game. The last survivor standing has an alternate escape option that becomes available only when one survivor is alive, and that escape option is called the hatch. This one spawns randomly on the map and the survivor needs to find it before the killer does. Otherwise, the killer can close it and start a 2-minute period of time that is called endgame collapse, in which the survivor needs to open one of the 2 exit gates or he will get sacrificed by the entity itself. Now that we've made a short description about the game, let's go on and explain the menu. On the left side, we have 4 options right now. Normally there would be 3, but the second one is a temporary game mode, so we're not gonna talk about that right now. When clicking on play, it now displays more options for us. You get to choose if you're gonna play as a killer, a survivor, start a series of introductional tutorials, or create a custom game to play with your friends and try new things. Going back now to the main menu, we have the archives. Here you can find different challenges that reward you with bonus blood points and rift fragments upon completing. On the top of the screen we have the current tome that displays the challenge that you now have selected and the levels for it. And then we have the rift that is like a battle pass for this game, and you get awesome rewards for completing the free version and also the paid version of the battle pass. And the most ignored tab is the compendium one. Also, my friends are ignoring this tab and also forgetting about it, and you need to pay attention to it because it's a great way to get some bonus blood points if you need them. Here we have a list of all the tomes that were released since the game started. So tome number 1 is the first one that was released, and number 20 is the most current one. Each one of them has 4 levels, as you can see here. Each level is like a web of different challenges you can choose. You have challenges for survivor and killer also. Now this is a great way if you want to go on a side quest and get all of them completed. I did not have enough time to do so. I still want to complete all of them, but it requires a lot of time and a lot of game to play. And now, here is a tip from me. Let's say we get one from the first tomes. Here on the left side you can see the collection tab. Upon clicking on it, you'll get stories about the survivors that are involved in the first tome. Upon selecting tome 2, you'll get stories about other survivors and so on and so forth. By completing the challenges in the levels, you'll unlock more pages to read and find out more about the killers and the survivors and this game's lore, because it's a lot. I mean, the short description that you get in the bio of each survivor is just to make an idea of what the survivor is doing on how did he manage to get into the trials. But upon reading those, you'll get longer descriptions about the lore and what's going on and the relationship between the killers and the survivors and the entity and what is the entity. So keep that in mind if you want to find out more. Now going to the main screen. Let's say we're going to play as a survivor. I'm choosing survivor from the tab. What do we need to know before we hit that play button? On the right now we have 5 buttons. The first one displays a list of all survivors from the game, both owned and unowned, a list of cosmetics you own for each one of them, and their bio, the one that I mentioned earlier. On the second tab we have the loadout. Here you can choose 4 perks to play with, 1 item with 2 add-ons and 1 offering. Take your time to read what those items do and the offerings, add-on, perks, because there's a lot of reading, a lot of cooldowns, seconds of use, when do you use them, and there's like you need to reserve a certain amount of time to read those to get you accustomed to what they do, so you understand what happens in the game. Now, the third button on the panel is the Blood Web. This one consists of 50 levels of a web in which you can find all the things needed to complete your loadout. Each item, offering, add-on, or perk that you choose to take from the Blood Web costs a certain amount of blood points. As you can see here, this one costs 2000 blood points, but it's from an event. Yeah, so each one of the items, add-ons, offerings, and perks are ranked on the rarity. Brown being the most common but also not so good ones, and purple being the rare ones and also the best. When you advance in the Blood Web levels, you start to receive better items. So now I'm level 28, you see the Blood Web has increased. Upon completing this one, level 29, the Blood Web has increased again. This button in the middle, it was not available when I first started. So this right now is an automatic purchase that will pick up randomly items and offerings for you. What I do recommend is choosing first the items that you want, because the entity will also block some of your items, and then choosing the automatic purchase in order to get the other ones. Now, upon completing all 50 levels of a Blood Web, you'll be granted with a prestige level with a maximum of 100. As you can see here, this one is prestige level 1. Prestige 1 to 3 will grant you charms with the survivor's own perks. We'll talk about that later. Prestige 4 to 6 will grant you bloody cosmetics for the said survivors. Let's pick one that has a prestige higher than 6. Let's say Vittorio. We'll go into customizations, and here are the ones that you'll receive for completing prestige level 4 to 6. The bloody cosmetics for the base skin. Now, I did mention that you can reach prestige 100, but you get rewards only for completing prestige level 6. So now you might wonder why some people reach prestige 100. Well, the simple answer is to flex. Uh, yeah, that's the simple answer. But let me show you what happens when you reach P100. So I do have Feng Min here, and let's open her Blood Web. As you can see, the Blood Web is fixed on the level 50, and as I said earlier, this is where you get the best rarity on items, perks, add-ons, and offering. So it's a great way to get all those awesome items, but it's a lengthy process to get there. Before getting to the next panel, let's discuss something important. Each one of the survivors that you unlock comes with 3 personal perks. These perks become shareable between other survivors only when you complete at least one level of the prestige, so 50 levels on the Blood Web. Completing prestige 1 means that all of the other survivors now have the perks for the one that you prestige in the yellow rarity. Getting to prestige 2 makes them green, and prestige 3, as you might have already guessed, purple. Now let's get you an example of what I'm saying. Let's say I'm picking Jane and I want to increase her prestige, but I want her to get Ashley J. Williams perks. So I'm picking Jane. Let's first go to the loadout. And now let's search for Ashley's perks. You can see I have them here. I have those two in yellow because I have Ashley's prestige number 1, and this one is green. Here is a very important tip that I usually do. I usually get my new survivors to prestige 1. Then I go into the blood web and try to complete all those levels in the blood web and hopefully get the better versions of the other survivors perks. And here you have a chance to get Ashley's perks in the purple rarity, although you do not have prestige 3 on it. So here we have an example. I have Renato's perk in purple, but if we go and search for Renato, you can see that his prestige level is only 1. So you get a chance to unlock the best rarity for those perks in the blood web. Now back to the panels. The next one we have is Shrine of Secrets. This one consists of 4 perks, 2 for survivors and 2 for killers, that are available for purchase without buying the survivor or killer. By purchasing them from here, it will make the yellow version of them instantly available for all of the owned survivors or killers. This shrine resets every 7 days, so it's a great way to get certain perks without spending all of your money on buying characters you're not gonna play with. Why do I have these ones on the green version, you might ask? It's because I already own those perks and those survivors, so these ones are already unlocked for me. I do not have the leech, so this one is in yellow. And finally we have the store. Feel free to explore the bundles, the collection, the features, the DLC packs, chapter bundles, all of those. There's a lot of options here. Also, it's very funny to pick a collection and try to complete it with your friends and get matchy skins on different survivors. And another tip from me, don't forget about the free gift that you receive from the entity. It resets every 6 days, I believe, and it grants you some bonus blood points. And also this button right here, if you click on it, you can redeem certain codes that are shared from the Dead by Daylight team and grant you blood points, iridescent shards, icons, charms, maybe some banners. They share those codes from time to time and you can put them right here to redeem them. Now, I know I did not talk about this earlier, but I wanted to get you guys accustomed to the game first. In the top right corner we have the in-game currency. The first one, Orixels, this is the one that can be bought from the store using real life money, and you can purchase it with it certain DLC killers as well as cosmetics. The second one, the iridescent shards, you receive 650 each time you level up, and sometimes we do get events to double up the income. And now the third one, the blood points. You already know what they're used for, and keep in mind that they are capped at 2 million, so go and spend them, but how do you get them besides the challenges that I've mentioned? Well, after every game that you play, you will be rewarded a certain amount of blood points depending on how much time you spend doing objectives, healing, unhooking, looping the killer, and so on. So you'll probably see how many blood points you're getting based on how do you play the game. Now, clicking on your icon right here will open a player profile where you can see your player level, the progress, and your grade as a survivor and a killer. The grade resets each month on the 13th and is like an MMR for the game, so you get matched up with players on the same level. The lowest grade I believe is Ash 4 and the highest one is Iridescent 1. The higher you go on this rank ladder, let's say, grade ladder, I don't know, you receive more blood points on the 13th. From here you can always change your profile icon and banners, and keep in mind you need to select the equip button first in order for your change to be live, so I need to select this. Now, I've got two tips for the one that stayed till the end. Going back to the menu, we can see those three squares on the bottom of the screen. First one is the settings, and I advise you to enable a certain setting for the game. Go into the accessibilities tab, and then next to the heartbeat visual support you want to get this to display the on. This one will show a heart on screen whenever you are in the killer terror radius, and the heart will grow or will get smaller based on how far and how close you are to the killer. If you want to explore this option, play a game with these settings off and then another one with it on, and tell me the difference in the comments. Which one do you believe is better? For me, I'll always keep this on. Now, the other tip is going back to the main menu and selecting this icon with a candle on it right here. This displays a group of 3 daily rituals, so 3 challenges. Upon completing all 3 of them, they will reset each day. You can, however, trash one of those rituals, so doing that only. See, now I'm unable to trash it again, so you get only one option to trash per day. So this is a great way to get more blood points if you cannot complete the challenges that you have in the tome, or you need more blood points and already did the challenges. This is a great way to get more blood points, and believe me, a lot of people forget about them. So I've covered a lot of things you can keep in mind before starting the game. All you have to do now is hit that play button, choose your loadout, and enjoy the game. If you've enjoyed this episode, don't hesitate to subscribe in order to join this awesome community. I'm also streaming on Twitch if you want to see a more hand-on experience of the game. I'll leave the link in the description for you. And now, until the next episode, good luck, have fun, and spread some kindness to the gaming community. We all need some.